And welcome back to the Y.E.S Longevity Functional Longevity Podcast. I'm Chris Borda, owner of Y.E.S Fitness, best-selling author. And today, Tuesday, beautiful day out today. And we have a wonderful guest with us today, Beth. Beth decided to come on board with us finally and to tell us her story, share her story, because she's got an amazing story, actually. And thanks for coming on board today, Beth.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully some people will be inspired by what you did. That's the purpose of this, because you've made some tremendous changes. Honestly, so I'm just going to set the stage, okay, a little bit. You came to us probably a month before COVID, before the shutdown. Would you say it was about a month?
Yeah. Yep.
It was about a month before we shut down. And had you ever exercised before?
I had exercised outside of a gym. I had never been to a gym before.
Right. But never in a gym before. So, when people get all hopped up and ready to go and they want to start, they're like, okay, let me do this. I'm ready to go. And now all of a sudden, COVID hits. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, and you're someone who's never exercised before, there's no way I'm going to see this woman again in my life. She's gone forever. And yet you are here today to tell your story. So usually I'm wrong whenever I try to prejudge someone. So I'm sorry that I judged you that way, Beth. But I just thought from my 25 years, 30 years of experience that, man, when someone doesn't get to start when they wanted to start, it's so hard to get it going again. So I have to applaud you on that, because that is a difficult thing to do.
Thank you.
So let's go way back before COVID hit and that kind of stuff, because we had our own challenges once COVID hit and we had to shut down. And even once we've been going here, right? So what problems were you having before you started with us back in February of 2020?
So the issues I was having, I was really, I have a very physical job. And I need to be able to lift, I need to be able to squat, I need to be able to move. The issues I was having, I was really starting to lose strength. I was having a really difficult time lifting patients, just moving around in my work environment, a lot of stiffness, lack of flexibility, just a really tough time. And I work with people that are a lot younger than I am. So just keeping up with them and co-treating with them, they were carrying the brunt of the lifting. And I was feeling a little embarrassed about that and feeling like I really need to do something to make, their day easier, my day easier. And I just didn't have the strength to do it anymore. So that's when I had seen, I think, an ad in the paper for you. And I thought, I'll just come in and trial it for a month, see what happens, see if you can help me, see if I can, get into better habits. And I came to you. It took a lot of courage just to walk into the fitness center. I had a lot of negative thoughts about gyms and had heard a lot of negative stories about them. So I was very nervous coming in there. I felt
what were some of those negative things you heard about?
Just lack of, people go in and they're pretty much on their own, doing their own thing, really no structure. It's just a bunch of equipment that, depending on what kind of gym you go to, but just equipment, and you're they show you the first day and then you're on your own. I would not know what to do. Mm-hmm. I would not be able to give myself that program, that motivation, and that structure that I needed to be able to get myself stronger and more flexible and, to stick with a program. That and just the environment. I didn't want to be around a bunch of really young people that were, bodybuilders, and that wasn't going to benefit me. That was going to work against me.
So what were these frustrations like? What was frustrating you that you weren't able to accomplish your job anymore? Like what did it feel like to not be able to keep up with those young kids and be able to do the job that you wanted to do?
I was feeling old. I was feeling my age. I was feeling, I was starting to get more pain because, my body's just sort of, weakening, breaking down, not able to move. So, on a daily basis, I would come home and just feel, like my body's taken a beating throughout the day. It was tough. We have some pretty heavy patients that we need to lift. And, I wasn't really benefiting them, not able to do, being able to lift them, being able to do my job. So it was super frustrating in that respect, and frustrating feeling like, I'm getting older and older and older, but I have a lot of years ahead of me, a lot of years to work, a lot of years to feel good, a lot of years to live. So I needed to make some changes, to be able to do, not only function in my job, but be able to do the things I enjoy. I mean, I enjoy hiking. I enjoy getting out to the outdoors and doing things. I garden. I have interests that, I didn't want to suffer because I wasn't physically able to do the things that I wanted to do.
So you decided you needed to do something. You decided to make some kind of change, and you overcome the fears of walking through our door or any gym door, because that's a very difficult thing to do. It's so intimidating. I even know myself, if I'm out and I'm on vacation or wherever traveling and I want to go into a gym, it just feels uncomfortable to walk into a facility. But you were able to do that. So how did you overcome that, and why did you decide to check us out, Y.E.S Fitness, with all the other places that are out there?
So I think because I think that the ad was like age 40 and older. So I knew I would be with people that were not going to be 20, 19, 18. Not that I have a problem being, I mean, my kids are those ages.
Yeah.
But me starting working out in an environment, I needed to be around people who were my age, older, and not feel so intimidated. And I think when I came in to see you, I don't think anything was going on that day, but the second time or the third time I had come in, there was a class going on, and I had poked my head around the corner, and there were some pretty older people in there. I was really impressed with what they could do. And I was thinking in my head, I saw this woman, gray hair, definitely older than me, probably in her 70s. And I thought, if she can do this, and she was just keeping right along. She looked like a powerhouse. I thought, if she can do this, then I can do this. And I need to do this so that I can be like that when I'm her age. I just really felt as if I needed to just start and build up that strength, build up that, change some habits, change what I've been doing to have a better, healthier life moving forward.
We do specialize in people 40 plus. So we train teenagers all the way up to, we have a client who's 89 years old. So we train all gamuts, and it is amazing, really. And I'm sure there's other places as well, that what these people can do in their 60s, 70s, and 80s just is remarkable. And even the 40s and 50-year-olds that we have here, they're in awesome shape. And I'm always amazed by, the determination and the efforts that they put in. So we get you started, and then boom, COVID hits. And
I was there for 2 weeks.
You're in the healthcare business, so you're scrambling now, working like crazy, right?
It was
How
rough.
did that feel, knowing you just gotten started, and now we've smack dab into this cement wall right in front of us? We have to shut down.
Yeah, I think when you shut down, my heart just sunk. I said, here, after all this time, I finally stepped foot into a door, and look what happens. So that part was frustrating for me, but I thought to myself, I said, you know what, let's just see what happens. Maybe it'll be just a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And then that turned into months and months. And I think that in the beginning, just the things that we were dealing with at work were so incredibly challenging. Just getting to work, getting through a work day was enough energy to just zapped me of every bit of energy. I would come home and just run up to the shower, take my COVID shower, and then get dinner for the kids. And I was tired. I was exhausted during that time. What was super helpful for me is that you stayed in contact with me. You checked in with me. You were constantly, not constantly, but every week or so saying, how are things going? How are you doing? Where are you at? It was so helpful to me to have that contact and have somebody really, saying, hey, how are you doing? During that time, it was so helpful to have anybody say, how are you doing? How are things going? How are you managing your day? And it just kept me sort of going along the path and moving forward, that eventually I was going to get through the tough parts of work, and eventually things would, become easier, and I would be able to get to do something. And I think it was maybe towards the end of the summer when we finally had a chance to talk and say, here's your options. This is what we're doing. This is what you can do. What will work for you? And so I started working out at home. You were sending me the links. You were recording the classes, sending me the links to the classes. I think I started that in October, beginning of October. You sent me the October links, and
I think that's about the time.
It was like October, November, December, January, and February. So 5 months of working out at home, which was tough in the beginning because thankfully I wasn't in the gym, so I could fall over by myself and nobody would see me falling over and not having good balance. So in that respect, it was helpful to be able to be at home and doing it at home and learning the ropes and trying to get things down to, a good routine. And then in March, when things opened up in the state, is when I started coming into the gym.
I remember, you were so enthusiastic when you came through my door. And I think one thing that we do real well down here, and I think it's really important, I think that's why people have helped us survive through this pandemic when places were closed in 23 years, it's important to let the client know that they're more than just a dollar bill to us. They're more than just dollar signs to us. You hadn't even really paid me yet, and yet I was still reaching out to you during COVID. And it's important to support people, and the community and the support is really important for long-term success, for wanting to be able to come to the facility, the friendships and things like that. So tell us a little bit about, the community and the support that you get here rather than just at any other gym where you walk in, you don't know anybody. You just jump on the treadmill and put your headphones on and there you go. Right.
Right. It was a very inviting environment. I remember the first class I went to, people were really, really just welcoming and supportive and, just very kind. I did not feel intimidated. I felt really welcomed. I felt very comfortable. And it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be there, and you feel great when you leave. You feel great just having had those workouts and having had that time with other people, just interacting and listening to their, what their life is like out, in the community and at home and during the pandemic, and how they're managing their jobs and their lives. And it's just a different kind of input. I have work every day, which is the same, and we all are working under the same conditions. So to be out and listening to other people's stories has been super helpful. And, just being in a really healthy environment has been good for me.
I got to give you a lot of credit, because remember when you started, I don't even think you were here a month, right? You only here a couple of weeks.
It was 2
and then
weeks.
You went through the whole summer, and then finally in October, we were, streaming on Zoom, and we were on Facebook, and we sent you YouTube videos. For somebody who's never exercised before, to just kind of be able to, we communicated back and forth, right? How do I do this? How do I do that? And that kind of stuff. It's not easy to work out at home on your own. You feel good about that? You should feel good about that.
I do. It was, and I think for me, it was helpful to be sheltered at home, kind of learning how to do different exercises, how to move, how you run your classes and run your strengthening, and just learning those kinds of things, was super helpful to me, because it wasn't just lifting weights. It wasn't just, people go out and run. It's not just going out for a run, and it's not just, doing the same thing over and over again. It's a mix of exercises. It's a mix of strengthening, a mix of, cardio, getting that heart rate up. It was helpful for me to learn the different things that people do to just build overall, strength and flexibility and endurance.
You had some goals, right? So you overcame not only coming through the door, but now as a healthcare provider, you finally said, okay, I'm in a position now where I can actually come into the facility. We're, running a safe facility, even though it's still COVID right now. It's still, the place is safe. She decided with our protocol that we're safe, right?
Very safe.
And you weren't quite getting what you were looking for as far as results, right? I mean, you're getting stronger, you're feeling good and stuff like that. You wanted to make some changes, right? So you jumped on board to our 12-week nutrition course, right?
I did.
And so tell us a little about how that's going for you.
It's going really, really well. It took a while to get started on it. I started out, I was following, we were having Zoom meetings Monday nights. We were learning about nutrition and changes that we can make, in our eating habits, and, the kinds of foods we eat when we eat them. Hydrating is one of the big things that I know was lacking in my life, which is always shown in my blood work. Every year at my physical, I always show that I'm dehydrated. So I knew I needed to hydrate. I think a lot during the pandemic, I was stress eating. A lot of people have been stress eating. I read this article lately that the average monthly weight gain, it was just one survey that was done, was 1.5 pounds a month during the pandemic.
Wow.
42% of the people that responded to the survey gained 29 pounds during the pandemic. 10% gained 50 pounds.
Wow.
And 18% had lost weight, not because they wanted to, but it was muscle mass from sitting around. So I've been kind of interested in, I hear things periodically on the news that it's, people have gained 1 pound a month. I really wanted to know how much people have gained, really what's been going on out there, because I know people have been stress eating. I was stress eating. I wasn't gaining that much, but I know that I was not, I was losing muscle mass. I know I was sitting around a lot more. I know I was eating more, and it was more stress eating, not healthy things. So I think that's what prompted me to join the 12-week, do the 12-week nutrition class, which has been just a tremendous help in making changes. And I look forward to carrying those changes through to my children when they come home from college, and just teaching them and, making changes in our overall eating habits at home and what we have in the house, and, when we eat, what we eat. I think it's going to help all of us a lot feel better about ourselves. And, I just feel better with the changes that I've made. And initially I didn't lose weight, but I finally have started losing. And it wasn't so much about the weight gain that, I was concerned about. I was more concerned about the muscle, loss of strength. So changes are, I'm changing. It's coming along.
It's different for everybody. It happens at different times. Some people it happens right away. Some people it happens after a few weeks. Some people it takes a few months. It's always different for everybody, and how the body reacts to the different changes that you're making. You were working out at home. I think when you came into the facility, we were able to step it up a notch a little bit. Yeah. I think that the changes that we made nutrition wise are things that, and if I'm wrong, certainly tell me I'm wrong, are changes that are things that you're going to be able to sustain. There are small changes. There wasn't any blowing it up, going on some diet and trying to maintain that diet. It's all been stuff that, let's do this a little bit different. Let's tweak that a little bit here and there. And I really believe it's some stuff that everyone that's participated in this particular group are going to be able to maintain some of those, because that's really been one of the things we've talked about throughout the whole 12 weeks. What are we going to be able to do after these 12 weeks? Because every diet works. Every diet will work, but it's not a successful diet if you dropped 15 pounds and then 3 months later you put that 15 pounds back on, right? So would you say that the habits we've kind of done have been sustainable?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that the difference between having a diet, going on a diet versus changing eating habits are, they're just completely different scenarios. And just changing the eating habits, and developing a better routine with your eating are things that are much more sustainable than going on a diet and then all of a sudden that diet ends. Most people put on that weight again, and it's not something that you can sustain. Just changing what you eat. We're still eating enough food. We're just eating healthier food. A lot of diets, you are starving yourself. You're hungry. You're not eating things that make you feel good. I have tons and tons of energy. I have more energy now than I had prior to starting that 12-week nutrition class. I have energy. I feel better. I sleep better, and combined with going to the gym and working out, I'm feeling stronger. I'm feeling more flexible. It was tough to go and try to demonstrate a balance test that you wanted a patient to do when you couldn't even stand on one foot and you were falling over. And I couldn't stand on one foot. I would lose my balance. Mm-hmm. So I can now demonstrate to my patients what I need them to try to do, and I'm not falling over anymore. Mm-hmm. So that feels good to be able to at least do that.
I always like, though, what's your favorite exercise?
Oh my gosh. 2B runs, I think, is one of my favorites.
And what exercise do you dislike the most?
Mountain climbers. I don't like doing them.
Mountain climbers with valve slides, or just straight mountain climbers?
Yep.
Because we know Candace hates them with the valve slides.
Don't like them with the battle. Well, it's with the battle slides. Sorry, I just don't like it. I'll get there. I can make it up to 6 repetitions. The 7th repetition, I kind of collapse at the end of, and then I can make it through the 8th repetition, but it's tough. I don't like them because they're so challenging for me.
Do you ever think about where you were at about a year ago and where you are now, and how does that feel?
I was completely different a year ago. It feels really good where I am now. And I know that, it's a work in progress. I haven't come full circle yet. I've come a long way, but I have a long way to go. And I love having that goal in front of me. I love having the ability to say, hey, I can still build strength. I can still build flexibility. I'm not at the top of my game by any means. I'm not even near the top of my game at this point in time. And I know that, as soon as I can get to that point, maybe I can start running again. Maybe I can, do some kind of, races and challenges if they come available again. If COVID ends and they have these things available again, they would be more fun to do.
Mm-hmm. Two thoughts on that. Number one, before you go to run, let me make sure. I don't remember what your active straight leg raise is, ASLR. Because if your ASLR isn't good, then you shouldn't run. So let me just check that before you do that. And 2, you're going to be surprised because we don't have a lot of runners in here. But, we sponsor a race in town every year. And we'll have clients that never ran before, but only do our workouts, go out and then be able to run the race. Run the 5K, whatever it is, 3 miles, right? And just be able to. So you're going to be surprised that you're going to be able to do it, and you haven't been out running, which will feel great, right? Because you get that nice high when you do a nice long run or whatever, right?
It does. It feels great to go out and do a run.
It's getting to be that weather now too.
It is.
It needs to get in the 80s or 90s for me to be running. So what would you tell someone who is on the fence about whether or not they should join or even check us out down here at Y.E.S Fitness?
I guess, one of the things, if I can walk through your door and feel comfortable, anybody can get there. I think that people need to, we've been indoors, we have been isolated for so long during this pandemic. And I think it's really important, especially now, for people to get out and get motivated. The gym is a really safe place to be. You have your own individual pods. You have your own equipment. Everything is super clean. You clean it, as you go along, you clean it after. Then, staff cleans it after we're done. It's a very, very safe, welcoming, positive environment. And I would encourage anybody to get out there and get into the gym and give it a try. It's been a really, really wonderful experience for me.
COVID, I don't think I'm glad you like it here, Beth, because we love coaching.
I love it.
A lot of fun.
I love it.
We love your energy. It's a lot of fun. I don't know if people understand. Maybe they do. I should give them enough credit to understand that. Okay, so maybe you didn't get COVID. If you did get COVID, we really don't know what the long-term effects are on our bodies here, right? And if you didn't get COVID, just the inactivity, the increase in fat, the decrease in bone density and muscle that occurred in this past year, the stress and what the stress did to our lives and our immune system, it is so important for people to exercise, and nothing to do with the fact that they want to try to lose weight, which they probably could do that or want to do that. It takes more than exercise to lose weight. It takes nutrition, right? We know that nutrition is number one, but for their health, they need to get to a healthy body weight. They need to do some strengthening for the muscle mass, so they can keep their ability to live life, to keep their bone density, to keep their immune systems up. It is more than exercise, is more than just coming to the gym and trying to lose weight. And COVID took a negative effect on so many people's health, more than just the fact whether they got COVID or not. Yeah. That inactivity just was terrible for them. And as we get older, that slippery slope is accelerated than when we were younger. So I just really urge people to get out there, get moving, do some kind of exercise, just for their health and immune system, because who knows? I don't know how this COVID thing started, whether it's because of China or not. But man, if this thing hits again, if something else like this hits, if a strand of this thing hits next year, your body needs to be ready for that. Your immune system needs to be ready for that. So it really took a toll on people, more than I think they really realized. The stress, all of that stuff really wasn't good for us at all.
No.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today, Beth. We love coaching you. I love the opportunity to help you achieve your fitness goals. We don't take that lightly. It's very close to us, our clients' results. That's what we're paying for down here. That's what you're paying for, us paying attention to you and making sure you're getting the results that you want. So I'm so happy that we've been able to do that for you so far.
Thank you. I'm happy too. It's been great.
Well, I appreciate everybody who took the time to listen to this and listen to Beth's story. If you're not doing something, hopefully it's motivated to you to get started. If you are doing something, hopefully it just continues to motivate you to do something more than what you're doing now, or just keep going with what you are doing. But you can look for more insight next Tuesday on how to get fit, feel younger, and live better from me right down here at Y.E.S Fitness on our Functional Longevity Podcast. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.